Let's move to the next topic that you had. It's a very interesting one. So I'm pretty sure I have lots of questions about it.
Oh yeah, I saw this news. Again, I know it's hard to take your eyeballs off the Bitcoin last week, right? It's like it's on a tear after the election, right? But I always look for because I firmly believe the AI and crypto marriage is imminent at some point, and some of these big projects are definitely starting to take a shot at it. So the why I'm interested in this one is primarily because I volunteer as advisor for a nonprofit called Quai, and we started looking at this with another project called Petals, Decentralized Inference, right? So it's almost like a BitTorrent model where everybody can contribute CPU or GPU, and the community benefits from it, right? Now, only difference from as opposed to then and now, like BitTorrent networks, the financial incentives are not very clear. I think that's where these guys are trying to come in and say, hey, we'll create a token, we'll prorate whatever you are contributing in terms of CPU, GPU, you get rewards for it, and thereby there is a monetary incentive to participate in the exercise, right? What does it get us? I think GPU is scarce. There's a lot of tiny consumer grade CPUs, GPUs lying around. Let's stick it all together, like almost like how Google started, right? They just built their search engine on commodity hardware, right? So that model still exists where if you can pull together enough of these independent stuff, you can achieve something, right? So if you take that into effect, maybe with these kind of decentralized models, we can run larger, bigger models or even smaller models in a much more redundant way. And you can even economically benefit from it if you have enough compute power. That's the key takeaway. So you don't have to be dependent on Google or Facebook or one of those guys to release a bigger, better model. Community can build their own.
That's true. But Near was doing this for Wi-Fi. If you use their platform and their devices, and you could offer free Wi-Fi, then they were paying you in Near tokens. So very similar to that, they now are trying to decentralize
inference,
intelligence,
right?
And
training
they will
inference, yeah.
compensate for you. Yeah. So I think one of the questions that immediately jumps up is decentralized. There are the biggest things that the inference can be decentralized, which means it's going to be slower than going to one place to get it. So
maybe Rajni, maybe slow, maybe not.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? The fun part, again, I know we had this interesting debate earlier also, but I think the more I think about it, slower or not is entirely dependent on how many nodes are clustering closer to you who can service your need. That's basically it, right? Even the big data center guys, they have to service you from the nearest data center to get the fastest stuff. So it's an experiment. We'll see, but it is slow. I agree. It will be slower than what you can get.
But I think something key you said there was it could be slow, but not all use cases need a 30 millisecond answer, right? So there could be use cases where you batch some things, you can let it run overnight or let it run for 2-3 hours. You come back, you have your answer. You're not really looking for immediate responses. So there are specific use cases that this makes a lot more sense than having to pay for like a cloud and pay really a lot of money to do it.
100%. I think as a business person, let's say you're used to looking at a lot of reports, and they usually happen top of the hour when you get in, and then you're getting yourself started. These things can run overnight, and they can have a touch of AI intelligence to it. It doesn't have to be split second report, right? So I think there are a lot of use cases that can run in the batch. I believe so. Yeah.
I agree. I think to your point, this is an experiment. If it works, I think it will be a great for entrepreneurs around the world. And here's where, how do you stop anybody from accessing it, right? You really can't. If you offer it up as a decentralized, it means decentralized. You can't say decentralized, but I'm only going to give it to the US, right? I don't know if you can do that. But if you offer it, let's talk about the pros. If you offer it, any entrepreneur who does not have access to dollars or the capacity that some of the bigger companies do, if they have a killer use case, they can build it and test it and maybe deploy it. But the other side is now everybody has access to this powerful setup, so they can build and deploy whatever they want, right? So that's a fine balance that you have to talk about.
There is one more thing, Rajni, when you talk about decentralized inference, right? The security, right? I think
Mhm.
I'm going to be looking into this project to see how they are tackling that, because we were looking at homomorphic encryption, FHE, and other things where you can do inference in an encrypted data set, not open it up and see what's inside, but you can just infer based on encrypted data, right? That's the
Mhm.
biggest thing they have to solve for. That's why I have this hope towards the crypto community, where maybe they can solve that in a much more elegant way, or faster way, right? The problem right now is when you say decentralized and then you say nobody can see your data. I don't know whether I believe it yet, right? They just need to know guarantee something has to guarantee that everything is happening in an encrypted way, because we know LLMs currently they operate on unencrypted data, right? It's not encrypted when you so the key question here is how do you, or is it getting built for only public information? I don't know. And where is that market big enough? There are a lot of questions there, but they have to solve the data provenance, which is where is the origin of data, how it is traveling through these systems, and how do you blockchain verify that data that it is produced by Rajni, right? How do you know that? Or how do you know
Yeah,
it's
that's
not?
true.
So provenance and security, those two key things have to be solved. And then it's exciting. Yes, they get funding to do this, but uh, those are key problems to solve. And once you solve that, I think that becomes very useful.
Agree. Agree. And I think we'll keep an eye on this story or this platform as it develops. I'm pretty sure we'll give an update. But next week, I'm excited, or next recording, I'm excited about us sharing our path through the last 50 episodes, things we've learned just personally, right? And things we've learned and what we can share with folks who are looking at it and seeing how can I get there. I think really it boils down to one thing, right? Consistency, but it's easier said than done. So we'll definitely talk more about it and bring some more use cases to share because I'm always excited about new ideas. So I want to share some for our next big episode. So thank you for your
Absolutely.
time, Balji. Thanks for everybody for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rajni.